But yeah, I think that it's time for Dallas to go away from the Euro experiment a little bit and try and bring a little bit more physicality to the roster.
My main issue is that Kristaps is so frail. He's always injured. He's one of the most injury-prone players in the Western Conference, if not the NBA, on par with a Blake Griffin. Gary Harris is pretty often injured. Those types of players, it's hard to have them on your team because you're always concerned that they won't be playing.
Hot take of the week.
My hot take of the week is that staying with Luka Doncic and the Dallas Mavericks, that it is time for the Dallas Mavericks to explore trade options for Kristaps Porzingis.
Ooh, I like that.
He is a shooting guard in a 7'3" body. He's afraid of contact. He doesn't set screens.
He's pretty
He's really bad at blocking out. He is arguably the weakest big man in the league. And that's not saying he's a weak player. Like, don't take that out of context. He's not a player that initiates contact, nor is he a player that is happy to bang down low with, Joel Embiid and those guys. What Luka needs is a big man that's happy to set screens and a big man that's going to roll to the rim and actually impose himself on the opposition's defense. Be the big man that's going to back Luka up when he's in the paint.
I'm trying to think of who would be a good fit for that. Do you have any examples?
Miles Turner, Andre Drummond, a guy that's going to bang down low, actually initiate contact, and then roll out. Julius Randle. There's a bunch of guys that you can name and roll around with. But yeah, I think that it's time for Dallas to go away from the Euro experiment a little bit and try and bring a little bit more physicality to the roster. Because it's just not working with Maxi Kleber and Kristaps Porzingis running the 4 and 5.
Well, I think Maxi would be a good backup guy.
I agree.
I would be interested to see what they can make happen with Kristaps. I think the problem is that they like the fit. They just I feel like they might be a bit stubborn to move off of Kristaps because bringing him in is so fresh still.
Yeah.
And that happens sometimes where it's like, give them some more time. They can work things out. My main issue, and I actually like that take, my main issue is that Kristaps is so frail. He's always injured. He's one of the most injury-prone players in the Western Conference, if not the NBA, on par with a Blake Griffin. Gary Harris is pretty often injured. Those types of players, it's hard to have them on your team because you're always concerned that they won't be playing.
Well, that's the thing. Look, the guy's 7'3", right? He hasn't got the frame to support that size.
He's like 7'3" and like 250 pounds, maybe. He's a bit too thin.
I don't even think he's that.
Maybe.
I don't even think he's that. I think he's less than that.
Yeah.
What they need, and something that they've struggled with for the last 2 seasons, is a bully.
Okay. So Drummond.
They need someone that's going to impose themselves. You look at the series last year against the Clippers. Luka was absolutely battered by Marcus Morris. The only player that really gave him a chance was Dorian Finney-Smith. And look, for all that franchise is trying to be, they're very flashy. They're a show team. Luka Doncic is a poster boy for the league.
Yeah.
But when you have a player like that, and you go back to the Jordan era where they picked up Dennis Rodman, and unfortunately I've had to remove his jersey for the other GOAT there, T-Mac.
Yeah.
But Dennis Rodman was brought in to protect Michael Jordan. That was his job. His job was get rebounds and protect Jordan. And he did it at an elite level.
I mean, I wouldn't mess with Dennis Rodman.
I wouldn't go near Dennis Rodman.
That works.
He's terrifying.
I wouldn't be in the same city as him.
Look, I've played center, unfortunately, at 6'3", and I don't like it. But I don't mind when I'm playing against guys who aren't willing to initiate contact. That's easy. That's an easy game for me. But when there's guys that are out there that are 6'6", 6'7", that are physical players, which most Australians are, you end up with bruises, and I don't like playing against those guys. But yeah, look, what Minnesota need to do, not Minnesota, what Dallas need to do is assess the roster and add in some bullies, add in some offensive, just powerhouses that are going to set really hard screens, that are going to make your offense more imposing, like Steven Adams. Bismack Biyombo might be a good pickup. He's just an absolute tank.
He's pretty good.
Frank Kaminsky might be a good ad.
Nope. He's a poor man's version of a poor man's version of Porzingis.
You know what I said? Because I said tank.
Oh.
Yeah. So
gotcha.
You add Frank the tank.
Freudian slip.
He's more like a Frank the big red car.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's
the
like
Wiggles.
Frank the Hyundai i30.
Yeah, like an iLoad, Hyundai iLoad. Yeah, they just need more imposing offense. So, like Kem Birch would be a good ad for them. He's someone that's super physical, and really good defensively. Isaiah Stewart would have been nice for them.
Yeah.
Mason Plumlee's playing really well for Detroit, so he'd be a nice pickup if they could end up with him.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, Kristaps is just not the answer for what they need. So I think it's time that they move off him. Like, actually, perfect example. It was a game the other night. Forget who they were playing. But Kristaps had an open lane to the rim.
Mm-hmm.
It was Portland, playing against Portland.
Right.
Had an open lane to the rim, dribbled up to the rim, and went to nicely lay the ball up. Kristaps Porzingis is 7'3", can reach the rim standing. And he tried to lay the ball up. And Dennis Smith Jr. came out of absolutely nowhere. Sorry, not Dennis Smith Jr. What's his name?
We'll get it. I don't know who you're talking about.
55. Derek Jones Jr. Smith Jr. Yeah.
My guy.
So DJJ, airplane mode,
Yep.
came out of nowhere and blocked the absolute
tar out of it.
Yeah. Nice. Thank you for covering me on that one. Centered into the 17th row of the stadium. This is a guy that's 7'3", and the guy that's blocking him is 6'6". Has elite athleticism.
Try dunking.
But just put the ball into the hoop. Just place it in there. That's all you need to do.
Like
7'3", are you kidding?
Like Boban would do.
That's just a show of what they're really missing, and it's that physicality. It's that player that wants to just absolutely rip the rim off.
Yeah. It's funny because they tried to get tougher in the offseason. Like you say, they have Dorian Finney-Smith, and they also added James Johnson. James Johnson's physical. Nobody's messing with.
Yeah.
He'll karate kick you into next year.
Yeah.
But nonetheless,
John Collins would be a good ad. He's on the trade market. That's someone you should probably look at going to get.
He plays with a fire.
He sets real hard screens.
Yep.
He can actually space the floor. He is actually a really good corner shooter.
Mm-hmm.
But look, the team just needs someone to come in and set a fire. Luka is getting battered almost every game, just gets absolutely beaten up. And we just had that full argument about him. So
he's beating up the defensive players.
Yeah. He needs someone to come in and really kind of set the standard for the rest of the game and just be like, if you even look at Luka the wrong way, you're going to get a blindsided screen and end up unconscious. Like Steven Adams setting a brick wall screen.